What is up, weather enthusiasts? I'm your host, Pat's Path Predictor. Let's get right into the weather. Alright, so this is the situation we have right here. This is Tropical Storm Fiona. First thing I'm noting is that the convection has moved much further more towards the center of the system. It's still off more towards the east and everything like that, but it is now more towards the center compared to what we were seeing yesterday. We do have some news we have right here. The tropical storm force winds have weakened a little bit. They are now down to 50 miles per hour, according to hurricane hunters right here. The tropical storm force winds still extend 140 miles from the center, and the minimum central pressure is still 1,005 millibars. So what this is telling me is that it's kind of trading strength for organization a little bit. So that's an interesting prospect to look at, but still something to keep an eye on nevertheless right here. So if we take a look at the cone, ladies and gentlemen, we do have an expected landfall tonight in parts of the Leeward Islands right there, probably around Guadalupe is my best guess right there. If it doesn't make landfall, it'll make a very close pass to that. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't matter. The tropical storm force winds still extend out over 140 miles from the center, except for the southwest part, right there. Something to keep an eye on. After this, it's expected to move through the Caribbean Sea, slowly strengthen. It's expected to still be a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm even before landfall, which we'll have to wait and see when it comes to that, considering that the system is weakened. Like, if we take a look at the satellite, and if it continues to organize, we start seeing more storms wrap more towards the north and more towards the west of the system, then that's possible. But for now, I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen, so I'm just taking it with a grain of salt. It is expected to strengthen to a 70-mile-per-hour tropical storm before hitting the Dominican Republic, people, and then it's expected to move through the Dominican Republic, and then is expected to strengthen, according to the National Hurricane Center, folks, into a hurricane past the Turks and Caicos Islands. So that's an interesting prospect to take a look at as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at the global sea temperatures. Fiona's going to be moving through these 30-degree warm waters as it's approaching Hispaniola, folks. So if this does strengthen, this water will be the reason why. We also have a good ocean heat content in this part of the Atlantic Ocean right there. So that might kind of offset the weakness that the wind shear is bringing, because the wind shear isn't exactly tearing it apart, but it is giving it a hard time. Fiona's been pretty resilient through all of this, but that wind shear is preventing it from strengthening into like a Category 3 hurricane or anything like that. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the track models and the intensity models. Track models have remained the same since last night. They do have it expecting to make potential landfall in parts of the Bahamas, including the Turks and Caicos Islands, even though they're not part of the Bahamas, but still in that vicinity. So, interesting prospect to take a look at. The GEPS has shifted once again towards the Carolinas for a potential U.S. landfall, but hey, once again, this is several days out, so I'm taking this stuff with a grain of salt. But we do still have the majority of the ensemble models potentially turning to the west and striking Florida, which is still interesting considering what's going on now, but I'm not one to question it. But let's go ahead and take a look at the intensity models. Intensity models, still pretty interesting. Models still have it going up to hurricane strength. We do have a couple of models of it strengthening into a hurricane before it hits the Dominican Republic, but considering the wind shear that's going on, that's going to be hard to do unless it happens to go through that 30-degree water and takes full advantage of it, which these storms are prone to do. But yeah, we do have a couple of models going up to Category 2 strength. The H-Wharf is always leading the charge with Category 3, but considering all that wind shear, I don't think that's going to happen just yet. It could in the future, as it's going to be moving through weaker wind shear as in parts of the Bahamas and all that after the Dominican Republic, but right now, I don't think so. Now we're going to run some model runs with you guys. So let's go ahead and start with the HMON, and we'll go to the H-Wharf for you guys, just to show you what kind of model deviations we have right here. So the HMON kind of starts off right here, and then it moves through. It moves through the Leeward Islands as a 999 tropical storm, but unless it gets its act together and unless we see a lot more convection really quickly in parts of the center of circulation, that might not be that strong. It then moves through, potentially develops into a hurricane, moves south of Puerto Rico right there, potentially makes landfall and clips that, moves into Hispaniola right there. It makes a kind of sharp turn, as I'm noticing right there, and then it moves through that. Makes landfall in the Turks and Caicos Islands as a Category 1 hurricane before starting to really ramp up in intensity right there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll run the GFS model as well because this GFS run has been kind of erratic recently. The GFS model has it moving south of Puerto Rico, moving through the Dominican Republic right there as a tropical storm, and then kind of strengthens east of the Turks and Caicos Islands right here, and then it strengthens into a hurricane, kind of really ramps up in intensity, strengthens down to 956 millibar. I saw a GFS run that had Fiona as a 932 millibar hurricane last night, which I don't think is going to happen at this point. That's like a high-end Cat 4 for you guys, but I don't think that's really going to happen. And then it kind of stagnates and starts weakening after that. The H-Wharf, though, we're going to have to continue to keep an eye on because the H-Wharf has been extremely aggressive through all this. It's generally the storm that leads the charge. It has it intensifying into a strong tropical storm, actually moving further to the north than a lot of the models are anticipating. A very close pass or landfall in Puerto Rico is expected according to the H-Wharf, then making landfall in the Dominican Republic right there. A little bit erratic movement right there, but alright, and then it moves east to the Turks and Caicos, really starts ramping up in intensity to a 969 millibar hurricane. So that's basically the latest we have when it comes to Tropical Storm Fiona. We should expect a landfall or close brush by Guadalupe tonight. We're going to have to continue to pay attention to it as time continues to progress on. I'll update you guys here on the Pat's Path Predictor channel when this system makes landfall. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It helps me out, helps me make more videos like these. The goal of this channel is to get more people engaged with weather. But with that being said, have a wonderful day. Stay safe.